And do the breathing in the water. And as the water passes by you, allow those charged electrons to remove that energy and flow away from you down the river. Guys, what are you doing here in the forest? Hey, I'm interrupting the video to do my very first sponsor, this little ad. Today, this video is brought to you by a pine cone. So make sure that you get a pine cone and you do like that and throw it so that it can grow new pine trees. Back to the video. I didn't expect to see you here. I'm glad you're all adventurous and can come on this hike with me. I wanted to ask you a question. Who are you? What are you? What's your thing? I'd love to know from you, hear from you guys what your things are. What are your hobbies? What are your talents? What are your skills? Because you should be using those. Do you ever go into the forest? It feels different here. Everything feels different. If you take your time and you're not just walking, not just trudging through the forest, but instead with every step you take, feel every fiber, every root, every rock, every bit of grass, every new sprig from a tree that's one day going to be as tall as an oak. You can feel them within you as you walk, and you can absorb the peace, the harmony, the love, and even the entropy that it takes to make this function. Think about it. All the parts, all the moving parts here. You have trees growing. Those trees need nutrients from the ground. Those trees need sunlight. In order to get the nutrients from the ground, other trees had to have died and decomposed, which means fungus had to decompose that, and little critters had to go in and get their fill. There's so much that goes into making this an ecosystem. It's just so beautiful. I like to wander around and look at all the different fungi and just see what I can find, because if you go off the path, you never know what's out there. And even with the trash in the forest, which bothers me a lot, you can sort of get an idea of what kind of events have taken place here, what people have been interested in. For instance, I'm about 15 to 20 minutes off the road, and there's a tire here in the middle of the woods. What's the story? I like to pretend sometimes. Maybe this guy had some trouble being able to pay for the trash to come pick up his tires. So he wandered out here in the middle of the night, one night, away from everyone, and dumped his tire. So that man's a litterer. Sure, he littered, but what's going on in his life? What's his story? Why did he do that? What better ways can we educate our children in order to make sure that this survives? Because this will be the first thing to go. Once this goes, the worms will go. Once the worms go, all life on Earth
will cease to exist.
And do the breathing in the water. And as the water passes by you, allow those charged electrons to remove that energy and flow away from you down the river. When I was growing up, my grandfather would take me out here. Not to this one, but they're all different, but in many ways they're the same. And he would take me and just teach me how to feel spirit, how to be alive, how to be spiritual, how to respect nature and my ancestors. And I tell you, Bo, I know at max you got 15, 20 years here, and that's doing very well. I'll never, ever, ever forget anything you taught me, grandfather. I love you so much. And for those of you who haven't yet, I'm going to try to have him on the podcast soon. I would encourage you to listen in. He's so wise, he's so funny, and he's good at storytelling, amazing to listen to. And my life would never be the same without him. I have no idea if my mom and dad watch this channel. Mom and dad, I have nothing against you at all. It's just this separation and this solidarity from the family was needed for me. And I'll always love you. And eventually, especially once my phone's not broken anymore, eventually we'll talk again. So if you do watch this and you make it this far, I have love for you so much in my heart, Mom, and you, Dad. And I love you so much that I haven't talked to you in a while. And that's how it's gonna be. That's how I have to do it. You know, I don't like some of the things that have happened. I don't like some of the ways that people go behind my back and do things. So, you know, if you really care and watching this would help show that, I hope you see that. And I love you so much. You know, my ancestors walked here. They walked barefoot on this ground. They left a stain of their existence here. And if you're in the right mindset, you can find it. And this is what it means to truly be an empath. You can feel. You can imagine. You can imagine so deeply what someone's going through that you just went through it, and it affects you. And a lot of people have trouble grounding out that energy. I had a user comment yesterday saying that they absorb all the energy around them, and it's driving them nuts because they can't release that. And I know that feeling. It's very stressful, very, very stressful to have that, because you have this weird anxiety within you. It makes you want to shake and move, but you're very uncomfortable and you have no idea what to do with it. And it just builds and it builds and builds until one day you release it in a natural way, which could be anger outbursts, psychotic episodes, massive depression. But you don't have to carry that with you. It doesn't necessarily belong to you, so why should you keep it in your back pocket all day long? One way that I heal myself and release that energy is I come here. Because as much as I am an absorber of energy, so is this. This is an absorber of energy. But not only that, this can absorb your energy and provide you healthy energy. Right back. This is cool, man. This is like a climbing tree because it's leaned over backwards. I'm not gonna do it with the phone in my hand, obviously, but. So you come here, find yourself a peaceful spot, usually at the very top of a hill or a mountain, or at the very bottom of a valley or a gully. Look, some very old chicken of the woods. Very old. But go to that place and have a seat. Take your shoes off and do my breathing method. I talk about my breathing method so often because I use it in so many capacities. I use it everywhere, every day. And there are variations. So if you're dealing with a lot of high energy, high anxiety, instead of going, do a similar method, but breathe as slowly as possible. Like, and as you let the breath out, it's not just breathing. You can't just let your air go if you're dealing with anxiety and you're trying to remove that from yourself. What you actually need to do is on that breath out, you tell yourself and you feel this come out. Don't just tell yourself, but feel it leave your body as you take that breath. And as you do this over time, especially if you're in a beautiful place that knows what energies to provide to you like this, the anxiety will go. Another very important thing is you can check out one of my videos called Cold Water Meditation. And it doesn't have to be cold when it comes to anxiolytic solutions. Just get your clothes off, wear some underpants or whatever if you're afraid. You know, I'm not trying to be weird, but go to a stream, go to a river. I choose moving water because the energy, the ions are flowing more freely than in a stagnant pond. But get in some flowing water. Submerge yourself at least up to your neck. I prefer the whole thing. Some people don't like getting their hair wet. And that is one of my techniques. Well, guys, I wandered a bit too far on camera and didn't pay attention to where I was. But I'm headed into somewhere that looks really cool. I'm going to show you. Gone down this riverbank. You know, I always choose little riverbanks, stream beds, dry beds, whatever, because if you do happen to get lost, you can always find your way back. But look, it's like we found a little oasis here. All these beautiful ferns. By the way, ferns, if you're getting eaten up by bugs in the woods, you just grab it and strip the leaves, break them in your hand, let the oils get out, and rub them all over yourself. It's a natural mosquito repellent, just so you know. Wow, how cool. How fun would it be to do these, like organize these guides? Like how I'm doing now, where I'm talking and doing this sort of like podcast style event. But it would be so cool if you guys were all here, or if you could come with me on these guided tours of the forest and I could show you in person how to do some of my techniques. I feel like that would be so fun. But I hope that this video has helped you in some way, especially those of you who struggle with anxiety and with grounding. And let me know if I haven't quite addressed all of your concerns, and I will do my best to come up with something tailored for you. And I guess I'm gonna wander up this huge embankment because I don't know another way out. But please like and subscribe the video if you feel like doing that. If you don't like the video, then hit the thumbs down so I can know. And I love you so much. Can't wait to see you again on Friday. Hopefully this Saturday I'll have my granddad on the podcast, and you can watch that and we can have a great time together. Anyway, I love you, and as always, be still.